Monday second lunch at Potter's Pizza. Our guest speaker today is Joe Walker. He is a serial entrepreneur and has a very interesting story with Abilene Startup Community. This is a series of education and encouragement and equipping is part of the mission of Venture Call and what we do here. And so what Joe's going to come and present to us today is his story of being an entrepreneur and an entrepreneurship mindset and going from being employed at FedEx to making some choices after some choices were made from him, as I understand it. But let's just welcome Joe Walker and hear his story today.
Well, thank you very much. As he said, my name is Joe. I'm the State Farm agent on the north side of town, the old Skillets building. It was the Kettle Restaurant and Skillets. It's a work call right there. 2014, it had been closed for a while, and it's now my State Farm agency and Sport Clips Haircuts, which my wife and I also own the Sport Clips Haircut franchise in town. So we have two of those here in town, one in San Angelo. Had one in Weatherford that we sold a few years back. But we'll get all to that. I'll kind of try to go in chronological order, but in how we got here. And any questions, stop me in the middle. Happy to kind of expound on those things. But we got to Abilene in 1998. I was an employee at FedEx. I was in management, just mid-level management there. Got here thinking it was going to be a short stop on the way, because that's kind of how things went in that business. Is you kept moving, go to a bigger place, take on more responsibility. We got here, and pretty soon I saw it was unique. Had employees that wanted to come to work instead of trying to get employees to come to work. It was just kind of a special place. I managed the managers when I got out here. So my operation was here in Abilene, Midland, Odessa, San Angelo, and Brownwood. Fell in love with Abilene real quick. Took my wife a little while longer till she did also. But pretty soon we realized it was a great place and wanted to raise our family here. So that kind of changed my strategy there. Knew it was going to be a hard thing because it's hard to stay in one place a long time with that company, with FedEx. It's a great company. I miss it today. But in 2004, I was offered a severance package. People at my level, it was a company-wide downsizing. And through prayer and discussion, decided to take the severance package. Because I wanted to stay in Abilene, wanted to raise the kids here, and knew once they start offering you money to go, the next time they don't ask you. So wanted to take it when they were offering. That position I had at FedEx now is in Fort Worth. So the Abilene location is actually managed out of Fort Worth now. So it's actually it did eventually go away. So it was a tough decision at the time, and like I said, one that I still. A position I still miss. It's been almost 18 years now since I left there. I still, when I see an express truck, I look and see if it's someone I know, and love to stop and visit with folks, because it was really the nearly 6 years I was here managing that group. It was really a rewarding time. The way the severance package worked out is they opened it up, and there's legal issues when they're offering a buyout, and you have to have a packet and to make the offer completely understandable. There's legal requirements. Well, FedEx had a calendar for doing that to make sure they hit their requirements. Well, they had so many people request the packet to see if to try to hit the number they wanted. They had people come in and said, okay, you need to offer this to so many people to get so many takers. Well, they had so many people inquire about the severance that they cut it off. they cut it off on a Monday and you had to accept it by a Friday when I thought I had about 4 months left to accept it or not. So that was the first switch that got flipped. And fortunately, it was something I had seriously considered. Hadn't told my boss yet, which was one of the hardest conversations I had. I had to tell him that I was leaving, which is a good problem when you care about your boss. But so had a couple days to decide, sent in the paperwork, and called my boss. I had to make sure the paperwork was gone before I called my boss, tell him I was leaving, because he would try to talk me out of it. But anyway, that's kind of how that went, and I was able to do that because my wife understood what I was trying to do. She wanted the same thing, to stay in town, and she supported it. But now I had to figure out what I was going to do next. And I had told her going in, I had one opportunity that I had talked to someone about here in town to go to work for them. And if that didn't work out, I didn't want to work for anyone else. I wanted to try to do my own thing. So we ended up, that opportunity I had didn't work out, but some good relationships came from that too. And I started to look for an opportunity to do something on my own. At FedEx, you have a relationship with people that do the same thing as you do. And you talk to them, and I had a buddy that was actually down in the Rio Grande Valley, and we were talking one day about, because we had plenty in common, plenty to talk about, and he mentioned where he got his hair cut. And I was immediately kind of interested, because that's not something guys usually talk about. It's not a conversation of, ladies may be real excited when they get a haircut and want to tell someone about it. Don't want to assume too much there. But it wasn't something that we would usually do. So asked him a few more questions. And actually, I don't know if anyone knows Brent Mann. Brent is, he's in Abilene now. He's an Abilene guy, but at the time he was down in McAllen. And he told me about where he got his haircut. And Brent likes to visit, but haircut's still not something we would talk about. So if the haircut was special enough that it would come up in our conversation, I wanted to look some more into it. So from there, this was 2003, looked into Sport Clips haircuts, and it was still a relatively young company, less than 100 locations, most of them in Houston and Dallas. So it had a pretty good footprint in Texas, but still less than 100. Before, the first time I saw one, was when I went to Austin to sign the papers. So convinced my wife this was something that made sense, and she supported it, and we bought the franchise rights for Abilene, Midland, Odessa, and Weatherford. So we bought those franchise rights. I had a big vision that if I could kind of get those going, I could dominate all of West Texas haircuts, was my vision. So got going in that. The first one opened up, we did okay here, and it's still there on Southwest Drive in Abilene. Then we opened that in 2004. Opened one in 2005 in Weatherford, and that one didn't go as well. So that was a bit of a struggle. I really, again, kind of looking at how things go, if I had my choice at the time, I would have opened Weatherford first, for sure. So as it turned out, Weatherford was a struggle. If I had opened Weatherford first, I wouldn't have had the ability to open Abilene. So being people of faith, I really do believe that was kind of God watching out for me there. Because if I would have opened that one, the bank wouldn't have been interested in helping me open the next one. And I definitely needed the bank's help in all of these things. So got the second one going. The first one was paying for the second one. I got a kid going to college, another one in high school, going to be going to college. So kind of realized maybe I wasn't going to be the haircut king. So started just considering what else I could do, because I didn't cut hair. I was looking to lead people, take advantage of the skills I had from FedEx. And about this time, I got a recruitment inquiry from State Farm. And thought, well, okay, what's this about? And started going through the process with State Farm. really, really good timing for me there. So we opened our second Sport Clips, started pursuing State Farm, realized that there was some opportunity there. I had never considered insurance. Brent, again, had gone into insurance. I had another buddy from FedEx who had become a State Farm agent and realized, okay, well, let's look at that. So those doors kept opening, and I was fortunate enough to become hired as a State Farm agent in training in 2006. And that really allowed me to pay for my daughter's college when she started, and actually open another Sport Clips in San Angelo. Was able to do that because I was in the internship with State Farm. So I was really, really blessed there that the way the calendar fell together for me there and the opportunities. Since then, so we have since sold Weatherford, have 3 Sport Clips, about 55 employees, have a membership-based massage business in town. My wife and I own is the Massage Heights over on Southwest Drive in the center there, same center the Sport Clips is. Our son-in-law actually is a managing partner with us there. I don't have much to do with that business, but we have about 15 employees there. My wife is a CPA and has an accounting firm. She's a partner at BDM, Birchall Denson Morrison, and she has about 8 employees there. And my State Farm agency, which is really what I do. So my time is spent at State Farm, and I provide leadership other places. The newest thing I've gotten into, which has been a challenge so far, is some partners and I have started an artificial turf distributorship in Odessa. So we're bringing in artificial turf from the biggest artificial turf importer in the country out of San Diego. We're their distributor in Odessa, and we're getting up and running there. It's been a challenge, but it's starting to get going. So that's been a good thing too. So have several businesses I have my hand in, but my focus in what I do is actually State Farm agent, and that's what I do. I have three licensed people that work for me there. Brent, back in the corner, worked for me there for a little while. So it's Abilene, these kind of things happen. You go places and it's like, okay, I know everybody. So anyway, it's been a pretty fun road the last 17 years. The few things that I wanted to mention that I think has made a difference for me was when I was at FedEx and when I was kind of doing my thing, thought that's what I would be doing. I thought I would go to work there in college and I was going to retire from there. Not the kind of thing that happens anymore, but it was the kind of job that's really what I thought I would do. So I tried to do the right thing. I mean, it's pretty simple, but I had heard Lou Holtz, football coach, talk one time, and he had a couple things that really stuck with me. And he's like, you want to surround yourself with people who care, and you want to do the right thing. And well, that's pretty general, but if those are kind of guidelines in everything you do, the people that work for you, work with you, if they care, you can do some great things. And if when you're trying to decide what to do next, well, do the right thing. You know, it was really pretty obvious and pretty simple. But along those lines, my wife and I, we tried to be responsible with our finances. Obviously made mistakes like everyone, but we were pretty good. So when the opportunity did come up, when I did have a chance to do something, purchase a franchise, which required the bank's help. It required some liquid capital on our end. I had it, and it wasn't that I was saving for anything in particular or doing those things with some sort of vision in mind. I didn't. I really thought I was going to be an employee, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed having employees. I enjoyed being a leader, but I didn't see myself as an entrepreneur. So in all those times, I just did the right thing, and it turned out when the opportunity presented itself, I could pull it off and get going. So I get people ask me a lot of times, that what advice I would give as far as a new entrepreneur. It's like, I kind of was accidentally a new entrepreneur. I did it because I wanted to be in Abilene. And I did it because this is where, mostly I wanted my kids to grow up here. And that's a huge thing, but I did enjoy it here too. But I was able to because when the time came, I had the resources and the ability to pull it off. My wife, extremely organized as an accountant. Obviously, she takes care of me. She's got definitely two hats. She wears the very responsible hat as an accountant, and she likes to not be as responsible sometimes in our personal life with money. So we have a lot of fun with that. She's not so tight with it where we don't have a good time. But she definitely knows where it's all hidden. I was kind of joking about that earlier. I don't have any secret accounts. I think she's got all the secret accounts. But that's okay. She's definitely has kept me going. I don't have to worry about my bills getting paid and getting paid on time. But the freedom that I have now, the ability to see opportunities and take advantage of them, they're all centered around that State Farm agency. That's been an incredibly good thing in my life too. State Farm is unique in how it's set up. I kind of went in the franchise direction, and I can explain that more in a second. But the State Farm is unique in that we get the benefits of ownership, but we don't own the business. I get to run it as my own. The employees are mine. I have a contract to sell and service, an agreement to sell and service State Farm products, but that's the extent. I have no equity in that business. State Farm is set up differently than most insurance companies with how they handle their agents, but it's still been a very good thing for me. To have that name when you're selling and marketing is extremely important, and they have a great support system as far as the way they handle claims. Extremely proud to represent State Farm for a lot of reasons, but I don't have any equity there. So that's kind of unique in a business discussion, because that's one of the huge advantages of owning a business is the equity you can build up. State Farm doesn't have that. But it's still a good deal. So I'm not going anywhere. I enjoy it, and that's kind of the foundation which I build the rest around. So the franchise side of it, the reason I decided to go that way, and I had some people advise me not to do it. People I trust that said, okay, you're stepping into it. There's a lot of scary stories with franchises out there. Franchises that take advantage of their franchisees. Franchises have to grow, have to make their money to the franchisor, and where they make their money is they get it from the franchisee. So when I looked at Sport Clips, it was a coincidence, but again, I think, as a person of faith, it's not a surprise when these things can kind of show themselves. Sport Clips' foundational principles were driven off of Lou Holtz, some talks Lou Holtz gave to Sport Clips early in the 90s. And he had a huge influence on me with kind of doing the right things, surround yourself with people who care, those kind of things. And I heard him at FedEx. Well, our foundational principles at Sport Clips are Lou Holtz's principles. So I thought that was pretty great as I looked into it. And I said, well, okay, you never know. Things can turn, but I decided I could trust the people that were the Sport Clips franchisors, the founders. Obviously, when it was such a small company, I got to spend a lot of time with them, and really decided to go forward with it, even though I didn't have any experience in that business. What I did have was the ability to lead and manage people. I was pretty confident I could do that. So if I could handle delivery people, I thought I could handle hairstylists. And I did learn that it wasn't exactly the same thing. But the principles that the company was founded on, and the way we treat people, it's kind of recognizing how to show you the people that you work with and work for you that you care, and get them to care back. It's a different strategy with hairstylists, but I tell you, it's been a really good thing. And I said it was built on my experience of the first 20 years of my work life. So doing the right thing, for the most part, keeping my boss happy when I was an employee was always my goal. I wanted to keep my boss happy. And that kind of led me to now, I really don't have a boss, and I kind of like it, and I never go back. But the strategy of doing the right thing, and it really has kind of worked out for me. Had a conversation with our install company on the jump to the turf business real quick, and it was something that through experience I think we all kind of know, but it's making a decision on what to do next. So this morning I was we've had the distributorship, but we're just starting the install company up, and the guy that's managing our install company, he's got all these things he's asking me for, and I kind of had to slow him down and say, okay, there's an order of things, and you need to decide, because we need to trust you. You're the one that's going to be running this company for us, but I need you to think a certain way. I'm not going to decide things for you, but the thought process we have to agree on is like, what's the next thing you need to be doing? This is the install guy. Should have turned my ringer off.
You want me to hit it?
Yeah, that'd be good. But he's excited, and I'm excited too. But he wants to buy equipment. He wants to hire people. He wants to be ready to go. And the problem with that is we don't need people sitting around looking for work. I mean, his order of things is get your calendar and get the work scheduled in February. We'll buy you the equipment you need. We'll get the trailers and the skid steers and the power brooms and all those things that you're excited about, that you're taking time to research. He's interviewed employees, and we have a meeting on Wednesday, but I told him, you need to be looking at what's the most important thing you can be doing right now. What's the one thing that allows us to do these other things? And it's having work scheduled. So I haven't been in the construction or this kind of work before, but you need to know where you're going next week. And that's real important, that we start to fill his work schedule before I start investing in more employees and equipment and stuff, the fun stuff he's looking forward to. He wants to buy grills so he can cook out for employees. He wants to do all these things, and it's great. But his order of things is a little off. So I had the conversation with him this morning about order of things, and hopefully we're going to start thinking the same way here soon. But franchise, I'm going to jump back to that again. Sorry about that little derail to the turf. But I had to look, when I was looking at the franchise, what skills I brought. I brought management skills, people skills, hiring, and occasionally sometimes firing. I could do those things. So that's kind of how I ended up in the service business and everything that I've done. Other franchises bring opportunities to be in other kinds of work. I selected the service work because I thought that's where I brought some advantages and tilted the scales in my favor. It's turned out that way with some ups and downs, but I definitely believe that in the franchise system, you want to be with the franchisor you trust. But the franchise system has been good to me in the couple different ones that I've got into. The State Farm system has also been extremely good to me. It's what I do, but it's just it's kind of a foundation that allows me to do other things also. So, some other fun, unique things that I've been able to do through this. My wife and I got to be in the ground floor of developing an island off the coast of Belize, which was fun. So we have ownership in a pretty large vacation property, which hasn't been the best business to be in the last couple of years. But the property we own is completely full this year. Was fairly full last year after we opened in 18, and that property is now profitable finally, so that's kind of nice. We don't have any operational responsibilities there. We just met the developer and took a chance. It was kind of fun to be able to do something unique like that, to tell people, yeah, we got ownership of an island in the Caribbean. So, but you know, it's a business like anything else, and it's able to work because we got in touch with we found the right people, and people actually did what they said they were going to do. Plenty of stories, I'm sure, down there of people investing and it not working out. But we were able to meet a guy from Dallas who was doing this, and it ended up being a good thing for us, hopefully long term. But yeah, it's been a slow couple years, but now, like I said, all of 22 is booked, 21 was pretty good, and 23 looks good too. So that's kind of a little side deal there. But my wife has an accounting firm, and then our other businesses. So I can keep on talking, but I would love to have any questions if anyone has come up. Tom.
Oh, yeah, about what Davy Crockett did say once when he was getting ready to come to Texas, make sure you're right and go ahead.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of similar. Have you ever heard that one?
Yep.
Okay. So do you think the next year or two is a good time to really start a new business?
So, can you repeat those
Yeah,
questions?
we brought in Davy Crockett, which was great. Be sure you're right, and then go ahead. He said, I grew up thinking that the Disney Davy Crockett was the greatest thing that ever existed. So I'm a big fan of Fess Parker and Davy Crockett. But
Yeah, he grew up just down the road.
mm-hmm, yeah, that was a good thing. And I've been to his winery in California because I'm a big. I do like Fess Parker, and it's kind of fun that he's from this part of the world. But is it a good time the question was, is it a good time to get started in business in the next couple of years? So we just started one at the end of COVID, and I think that our town, Brent had to step away, it looks like, but I think we're in a great place for new businesses right now in Abilene. I think being in Texas makes it always a good thing, I think. I mean, Texas wants to be free, wants us to continue to live life and work. Being out here with the new opportunities, I think, that are coming from the Air Force Base. I'm not completely sure about how this works, but with the new Bitcoin mining facility that's coming out this way too, I do think our town is a great place for opportunity right now. The biggest thing that I could say about that too is if you get into something, just be ready to go those last few feet. Be ready to keep digging. We're doing a book study, me and a few of these guys here, and one of the lines from the book was, you don't want to quit when you're 3 feet from gold. You want to keep digging, and you never know when you're 3 feet from gold. I mean, that's just, but typically people they give up right before success. So that would be one thing to know, is don't expect it to be a smooth road, but be ready to keep on pushing when you think, hey, it's just a little too far, because you don't want to quit and find out you were 3 feet from actually hitting what you were looking for. So I think this is a good time to be in business. I think it's a good time to start a business. Cash flow is what it's about when you start something new, and you just need to make sure you've identified, hey, those challenges, and if I need to carry this thing a little bit longer, I have the ability to do that. When we started our business, my wife was a stay-at-home mom when we started Sport Clips. When we decided to do it, she went to work as a CPA at the same time I left FedEx. So we were kind of able to replace my income with hers and not put the pressure on the business right away. Everyone doesn't have that luxury, but that's kind of how we did it. So we were able to withstand that startup time and get going. And then we've kind of stayed ahead of that cash flow issue with all our businesses along the way. But yeah, I would say definitely this is still a pretty solid time to start. And start out here in Abilene, for sure.
You know the movie star named Richard Dreyfuss from Dreyfuss?
I do know, from Jaws, yes.
You talk just like him.
Oh, huh.
Has anybody ever told you that?
No, but that's okay. I hope my politics aren't like his, but, you know.
I think he's a little more conservative, isn't he?
No, I think he's way out there.
You sound just like him.
Well, he was really good in Jaws. What was his name in Jaws? I forget. He was the scientist in Jaws.
I know, Josh too was on TV last night, so.
I don't think he came back for any of the sequels. Yes.
Do you ever sleep?
You know, I think I'm pretty good at compartmentalizing, and and what else I'm good at is letting people manage their responsibilities. So my job, I might have 50 to 60 employees, but they work for someone else. So the solution to those problems belong with the managers of those operations. At Sport Clips, the managers talk to me, but and the employees know me. It's important they know me. One of the things I do, I mentioned caring about people, and how do they know you care about? I mean, that's a hard thing to do. We can have the benefit packages and we can have all those things in place, but they kind of need to know you. So where I do spend my time with employees outside of State Farm is 2 to 3 times a year. I'll take everyone out to breakfast in groups of 4 or 5. Gonna have breakfast anyway, so why not just sit down and have a meal with people, and all of a sudden you learn a ton about them. Once a year I sit with them and we talk about retirement, we talk about health insurance, and we talk about life insurance. An insurance agent should talk. But those conversations allow me to know my employees, and they make it from the semi-business conversation to sitting at breakfast talking to people, and I do it in small groups so we can talk. They're pretty comfortable with me, but they also get to know that I'm not the solution to their problems. So the solution to their problems is with their managers. I give the managers freedom to run their business, especially in the massage business. That's my son-in-law, and he's great. My son-in-law has a lot of talent, but he sure doesn't need me taking phone calls or helping him. If he calls me, I want to help him, but it's his business, so that's kind of how I handle all those things. Is I make sure the managers know I support them. I'm not looking to second guess them, and I think most of the time they make the right decisions. So
So how do you evaluate a business that you're looking at?
well, I can tell you how we've decided each one kind of individually. So going back to Sport Clips, it was, how did they made a haircut exciting. So if someone made a haircut exciting, there's something to it, because guys get haircuts. They were smart enough to say, okay, we're only going to go after half the market. That was one of those things that people didn't get back then. It seems obvious now. But they said, well, we're going to give up half the market and not pursue the women's hair. We're going to just be 100% after men. Well, they were the only people doing it. So it's like everyone else can fight over everything else, and they went after that. So they figured out a way to make an everyday thing somewhat interesting enough that my buddy would tell me about it on the phone. So, and I thought I brought enough value in that business model where I could then tip the odds of success in my favor. I brought enough value in my experience managing people and leading people that, okay, this can work. So that was the thought process there. Obviously, there's a lot of tools out there. There's projections. There's models to use. The biggest haircut place in the country and in our system when I started was in Frisco, which made sense to me. You know, Frisco, that was a growing place. This is early 2000s. okay, I want to have a place like Frisco, which is why I went to Weatherford. Because I'm like, okay, it's right there, that same market, same kind of feel, same kind of growing, which is why I thought I got a gold mine there. Well, the last 6 years, up until last year, the biggest store in the company was in San Angelo, and that was mine. And now there's 2,000 locations. Back then there was 80 locations. And the last 2 years, the biggest location has been Southwest Drive. So San Angelo's fallen off, so about the last 6, 8, 7 years, I've had the biggest store in the system every year. And there's a couple reasons for that. When something like Frisco is super successful, people open up around them and just cannibalize it. Competition gets crazy. Out here, Sport Clips, even there, they'll sell more Sport Clips next door to a Sport Clips because their job is to open more Sport Clips. That's how they make their money. Well, an advantage out here that I have is they don't want more franchisees to deal with. They're not going to sell another franchisee in Abilene. They want to just deal with me because even though I may have a big store, I'm nothing compared to what goes on in Dallas, Houston, Austin, Chicago, anywhere, any big. So I can kind of control my market here. So I learned that pretty quick that, okay, there's advantages to being in Abilene that you'd think, oh gosh, the opportunities in Weatherford, like I thought when I got into this, no, it's better to control a market than when I was able to open the second store, I'm taking business from myself. So how did I decide to do it? That's kind of a little more than you asked there, but that's kind of what I have realized after opening this was the franchise opportunity in a town like Abilene is pretty good because you're going to control the market. So then when I was looking to do something with my son-in-law, he'd expressed an interest in, he and my daughter were living in Waco. He expressed an interest in getting in business, and my wife thought this is a good chance to get our daughter home. So we, and then since then they've had 2 kids, so it was really a good move. We started looking for a business there that we could leverage our experience with Sport Clips to hopefully make ourselves to the odds of success, tip the odds of success in our favor again. So we looked for a similar kind of business. And the massage business is similar in that it's licensed professionals. There's a uniqueness to those people that choose that for a career. Hairstylists, massage therapists, I think they're the kind of the same kind of creative people, and we love dealing with hairstylists, even with all the quirkiness and challenges. So we thought, you know what, here's something we could build on. And so we basically looked for things that we felt we had some advantages over someone else that would maybe make us tip the odds of success in our favor. There's been challenges in that business. Although the employees are similar, there's a lot fewer massage therapists. So we've had some challenges there, but our son-in-law's done an exceptional job. We have 11 licensed therapists working for us now, which is a really actually high percentage of therapists here in Abilene. Limits our ability to grow because we could market and grow that business a lot more if we had the therapists. So we're looking at some solutions to that, but that's maybe what we're looking at next is encouraging actually a massage school here in town. Don't remember again, not just for us, but the town needs it, and an awareness of that, of the benefits of massage. If we can bring that to everybody, that'll help us. More employees will help all the different related businesses in town, because we all need more therapists. The turf business, same son-in-law. I have 2 son-in-laws in town. One's a pastor at Beltway, and then the one that runs the massage business. He put in an artificial turf lawn in his backyard a couple years ago. 2 little kids. They're out there playing all the time. Other son-in-law, beautiful yard, takes good care of it, but it's just not as much fun for the kids to be in that backyard. They go to the artificial turf backyard for the 1 and 2 year olds to run and play. They don't run on the regular grass. So that had kind of triggered my thoughts. Then I had a buddy that called me about looking into this business and said, okay, I'm a believer in this product. It is, quality of life is huge. Saturday mornings aren't spent mowing the yard, they're spent with the kids playing in the yard. Everyone kind of, in Texas we know about Magnolia and that place in Waco where Fixer Upper has done this great complex. All artificial turf, put in really well. Little kids running everywhere. It's such a great product. Then you throw in the fact that we do have water issues, and one of my partners is in Midland, Odessa, which has even more water issues, which is why we ended up starting it there. So, my belief was we had the right people to pull it off, even if it's a good idea, if you don't have the right people, it doesn't matter. I'm not going to operate that business. I'm going there on Wednesday to meet with the installer guy, but I don't want to be involved in that business. I need to make sure I have the right people, even if it's a great idea. So, Odessa partner's job to make sure we have the right people. So, that's how I've done it. I look for ways that tip the odds in my favor. If I bring some value, then maybe I'll pursue it. But it's also always got to fit around State Farm. Always, because that's what I do. I don't want another business to run. So, gotta have the right people too.
So also, in the availability,
Your Weatherford store, you mentioned a couple times that it didn't work out like you got. What are the top 1 or 2 reasons that it didn't go the way you thought?
So when I learned this early on too, is don't always trust the landlord who's trying to rent you a piece of property with what he says what's gonna happen. But we opened in the reason we did Abilene first was where Lowe's and Best Buy is going into Weatherford. There's a Chick-fil-A there and Waffle House on the south side. Most of Weatherford's on the north side of I-20. So we signed our lease in that center where Lowe's and Best Buy and then like Chick-fil-A since opened up too. We signed our lease in there. Again, the landlord he told me that the road construction was going to be finished before the center was finished. I don't know if that road construction is finished yet. So it was at the time we opened there, it was a 1-lane road back and forth from Weatherford over to there. It just was impossible to get there. We also had challenge with employees. Another huge advantage about Abilene is people are here because they want to be here. People in Weatherford grow up, go to school in Weatherford, want to go to Dallas, want to go to Fort Worth. So the people that are coming out of the cosmetology schools there, we're hiring them, getting going, they're trying to go somewhere else. So the turnover, although we have more turnover than we'd like here, but the turnover there was a huge challenge. The way I could keep the turnover down again is by knowing people and getting to know them. And at the time the year after opening Weatherford, I opened my first State Farm agency in San Angelo. So now I'm 4 hours one way trying to get there to visit and influence the culture there. And it was very difficult to do. That store is done well now. It's still not huge. It's a good sized store. Sold it to one of the clients that came in there, and it's pretty typical. That's when Sport Clips change hands. You usually sell it to someone who is a customer at one of the Sport Clips, or to an existing Sport Clips owner. But we were able to sell that and at least get out from under the debt we had there. We didn't make any money when we sold that, but we got out from under the debt, and I was able to focus on State Farm because that was the season in my life where I had to get focused on State Farm. This was 2008, 2009. So, but yeah, the traffic pattern was impossible. There was no solution to it until it was done. Gosh, the Cold Stone opened up right next to us about the time, and they didn't make it very long. They were excited because I had the story that when the Cold Stone opened here in 2004, it was the biggest Cold Stone in the Cold Stone system because we had just lost our ice cream stores here. We didn't have anything here in town. So that Cold Stone went crazy. So my neighbor in Weatherford was excited that, oh gosh, I saw the same things he did, and Abilene was so great. Well, he couldn't overcome that. They didn't last long. They lasted a while, but and that Cold Stone didn't last. Places ended up closing and going across to the other side of the interstate where there was better access. But the Sport Clips is still there, and I'm friends with the people I sold the business to. They don't have any hard feelings. They've had a successful business. Side note, it's a good way to buy in a business is buy an existing one. You know what it's worth. So you're buying it to make money. When I said I lost money opening Weatherford. They've never lost money buying it from me because they paid the right price for it. I overpaid for a losing business to get it opened. So buy an existing business if you can.
Can you suggest a book or two? Can you suggest a book or two?
A book that really has influenced me is The One Thing from the guy that started Keller Williams. I really have kind of taken a lot of thought from that and made it kind of my own because it gives you options for you to decide a lot of times what that one thing is. So that's a book that really has been a good thing for me. It was an easy read. I've done it with my managers a couple times. I think it kind of has some logic there. Book Gung Ho is about it's a late 90s book about building employees that are excited to work for you. It's called Gung Ho. Wish I could remember his name. He's written some really big books, but good leadership book there.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. If anyone has any questions, let me know. So my office is up on the north side. I'm open if anyone wants to visit about anything. Insurance. You want to talk about franchise, I can give you some insight there too, but insurance is what I do. Thanks.
Thank you all. That will conclude our meeting today, and look for your next meeting, which will be next week.